So, good morning, people. How are you today? 2 days ago, I started out with questions where a particular phrase was found in Scripture. And then some people apparently were asking yesterday, somebody told me they had sent in a question if I was going to tell the results. But the results are listening to the conversation itself. So they were there. And it was like, it wasn't a trick question, but it was kind of things that we take for granted, and they mightn't be right, you know. And so it was about who to love God above everything and your neighbor as yourself. And who said, first of all, to love your neighbor as yourself? And people were all suggesting Jesus. Well, actually, it was from the book of Leviticus, a long time before Jesus. And then Jesus knitted those two commandments together for the first time. To love God with all your heart and all your soul, which is in Deuteronomy. And to love your neighbor as yourself, which was the text we had concretely in Leviticus the other day. Just leaving everything ironed out. Yesterday we had a lot of mention of forgiveness in the prayer of especially the teaching about the prayer of the Our Father. And forgiveness is a hard thing for people sometimes. Oh, maybe for all of us always, because somebody does us wrong, we'd like them to make up for it. We'd like them to put it right, and sometimes it can't be put right because the milk is spilt, and it's very hard to drink spilt milk or to use it for cooking. Maybe the cat can help a little bit, but what are you going to do, you know? But the issue of forgiveness is hard, and sometimes we're angry, we're emotionally very upset. And that's the forgiveness between each other. And today there's a big theme of conversion and forgiveness. And the whole story isn't told, it's just one snippet of it, that the people converted when Jonah went to Nineveh. The people converted. I want to check out the step, how high the water is rising and how quickly. So they converted, and even the animals, you know. So there's a lot of funny things in Jonah's story. But the fact is that the people converted. And which says a lot, even from the king, from the highest to the lowest, even the animals. And they trusted in God's forgiveness. It's a very challenging story for the hearers at that time to digest, because the Ninevites were the enemies. They were the ones who took Israel into slavery. And now they're being forgiven by God. And Jonah didn't even like the job of going to tell them to be forgiven. He'd prefer to see them destroyed. Look at the step, guys. The simple steps are covered completely. And now it's just the last platform. Today is Wednesday, so by the end of the week, I'm sure, at least, if not sooner, this step will be pretty well bathed in water. And then we'll be counting the steps of the stairs. Should go over another bit more to get the window. The light should be good on the window. Yeah. lovely morning. Maybe the reason Jonah didn't want to go was precisely that prejudice toward an enemy people. It's interesting that they didn't need much to be converted. Well, actually, everybody needs a lot, and that's the grace of God, because it's a huge grace to convert. It's a great asset to the person. It's like coming back into health. Maybe we're a little bit like alcoholics that can't give it up. There's kind of a slavery, a detachment. Sometimes we're afraid of God, that He's going to take over my life. And that'd be like a little toddler thinking the parents are going to take over their life. And they just want to change the diapers. And the baby is kicking. Maybe we're like that sometimes. And there's a great grace, a change of heart that gets us into a better mental disposition. Humility would be the right word, probably, right? Humility actually comes from humus, not hummus that you eat. Humus. It's the word for the clay in the earth, right? The humus, we use that word. It's the earth. It's an earthy quality. This is earth here, right? A lot of clay. Some tractor went in here the other day, and it's always messy when tractors move in wet ground. We're made from the dust. We're earth. The word for the earth in Hebrew, I think, is Adamah. And that's where you have Adam, made from the dust, from the Adamah. Maybe I'd have to check it out, but I don't know. I'm not a scholar. But humanity, humus, I wonder if it's related to coming from the dirt. That'd be an interesting little question to find out. Wow, we got the Mississippi coming in again. This was all blocked and they have freed it up. Well, it's a bit messy here, but we'll try and get across anyway. I had sticks when I crossed yesterday. I don't want to fall in here because you might get wet. There we go. There's also an issue that we have some freedoms we have taken that are really not in our domain. So we have raised ourselves above the dirt, and we kind of posture and pose before God like a cat before a dog, and we don't want to come off our high horse. What happened there? There was like a flash of light. That's pretty cool. So that humility, that's hard for us, isn't it? Hard for humanity. Hard for us to admit we're wrong. heart contrite and humble. The word humble as well, there's a H-U there, humble. Humidity, no. Humanity. Oh, here our Russians are fishing. And here's this elderly Egyptian goose. Quack, 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 quack. You're okay. Won't bother you, lady. It isn't Thanksgiving time, and I'm not sure if you'd be the right tasty, edible one. When you guys go fishing, do you go like this with all this tackle here and this equipment, 3 line setup? Dobre utro. Dobre utro. Look at this gear here. Ooh, look at this. How many are there? Try and count them. Wow, wow, wow. There must be a lot to gobble up here, that they're all out here fishing in the water. I think they eat up a lot of young fish apparently. Little ones. The phenomenon of nature. Once I remember seeing a documentary many years ago, I think it was in the States when I was still working there, so about 20 years ago. And with the community, and we were watching about the interrelatedness of the different cycles of nature. Not sure if it was like National Geographic or one of those type of nature exploration documentaries about how all the different spawnings and plant developments, and they were all very, very connected. Amazing, amazing reality. Science continues to discover so much about all of that behavior, all of those patterns, all of that order. And nature follows all those things. It's a type of programming. It happens automatically. And we have decision making, and we often make wrong decisions. We know we shouldn't say that word, but our anger has so welled up, we lash out. It's interesting also to see the process of change, a process of hearing the message, just being challenged to change. And it's interesting how people do quit the bottle, quit an unfaithful relationship, go back to church, let God be part of their lives. It's interesting how people are able, all the debris here from this past week of stormy weather. This is so clean now, and these are all shells. Yesterday we were down on the left of that cliff, down below the road. See the road there? So we were down below that, beyond those trees. We were looking up at the cliff. It's amazing how people leave chairs in places like this, isn't it? We want to see this bird fly. I don't think that's any injustice or any violence. There, we got her. A contrite heart, a humble and contrite heart, O God, you will not spurn. That's a great invitation, isn't it? Psalm 51. And Jonah went in proclaiming through the city, and Jesus speaks with a very soft voice. And he reminds us about Jonah today, and he says the people did change. So let's hear the call in Lent for a renewal of our spiritual lives, a turning back to God, changing something that's drastically out of order in our lives, that might even be accepted in our so-called civilized society, but needs to be changed, needs to be addressed. People, God bless you. Enjoy this beautiful morning. See you later, alligators. I'm still here. God bless you. A lot of birds flying there now.